Hi, I'm Bran, and I love CBS Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise CBS Christmas movies.
I'm Alonzo, and I see all the BS, and this
is the Deck
the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Alonzo's intro, per usual, was so good, it got me thinking. I see all the BS. It's really good. And then I almost missed the intro.
Yeah, you almost missed it. But he did, if you're watching on philo.tv/DTH, he did do this thing with his hand like it was toward us.
Yes.
So maybe it feels personal.
It does.
Is all I'm saying.
I meant in all the world, in all the.
Well, you join us every week for a Christmas movie that Bran has been picking out, so you have seen all the BS.
Boy, howdy!
But
Quite the collection.
I feel like I feel bad that we've taken so long to get to this one.
Yeah.
I told Neil we were doing this week. He was like, "You haven't seen it yet," and he felt personally offended. He said, "Lose this number." It was a whole thing.
Lose this number, yeah.
I feel bad, but I'm excited to talk about it. Do you know about network TV?
I do. You know what's wild is we switched to Skype to cover the CBS movie.
That's true.
So we are doing it. We're doing a Jag rewatch podcast. It's going to be awesome, man.
A friend of mine is dating somebody who is in his early 30s, and he had to explain to him the difference between broadcast television and streaming.
No,
he was talking about working on something that was going to be on NBC or something, and the other guy did not understand what that meant.
Wow.
I said, wait till he asks about radio. That's going to be very
man. It's going to be crazy.
I know that stuff. I know about TV, so that gives me some points. I know I don't know a lot of what Alonzo talks about on a weekly basis, but at least I know what network TV is.
Yeah, broadcast TV.
I can do that. We are recording this, pull back the curtain, on Alonzo's actual birthday. I know it doesn't come out till Monday, but we are recording on your birthday. The fact that you are willing to join us on your birthday means so much. I don't think
this is the first time you've done it either. I think you've recorded on your birthday with us before. Am I wrong?
It's possible. If I'm not podcasting on my birthday, what am I even doing?
That's right.
How is that indicative of what the rest of my year is going to be like? So it's lovely to see your faces.
Thank you. And that's really all you're getting from us. Present-wise, but it's a good present.
I know. No,
Did
that's
I
not
see
true.
that you sent him something absolutely knowing that his birthday was coming up?
That's right. I sent him some Old Bay goldfish that he doesn't have in L.A. We got something in South Carolina he doesn't have out there.
Can you next time just tell me and then we'll both sign the card together
I wanted to make
good couple.
You look as bad as possible in this situation.
That's fair.
But the company did pay for the shipping. So, it was technically from Bran as well.
And I am expecting a thank you card.
You got it. And I'll say I'm going to put in my bid for next year. If we're recording on my birthday again, y'all could wear shorts. Just I think that's my gift to everybody.
I'll do one of these numbers. How about this?
Oh, look at that. We can make them.
I'll give you this.
Like that's what we're going to do. That's right. We're going to do
Is
that
that
right
lips
there.
of stocking.
That's right. We're going to right there. Is that a better look for everybody?
Alonzo, and you say we don't give you anything. Yeah. This is.
I never say that.
I've
never said.
I feel like my circulation's being cut off.
Recording and a show.
That's right.
This is beautiful. Let's talk about Must Love Christmas, shall we? Way back in December 11th of 2022, this aired on broadcast television on CBS, and it went a little something like this. The movie kicks off with a scene that we're getting to see be played out that is from one of Natalie's book. Natalie is a best-selling Christmas romance novel author. You know the kind.
Yeah, we don't do the novel part of that. But
no,
we're best-selling Christmas authors.
We are
Amazon,
best-selling.
We had a thing
That's
up there.
Exactly right. We're best-selling Christmas podcasters.
We are. That's right.
So I feel very seen by this movie. She is bringing this new book to her publisher. Her publisher is less than thrilled. She encourages Natalie to get out of her apartment to find some inspiration and maybe some love. Maybe that will help, because apparently since becoming a best-selling author, she's been a bit of a recluse
Recluse?
A recluse, like a recluse spider. And her publisher encouraged her to make a list of 5 things that she's looking for in someone. This is a very, I don't know, like, this publisher is very involved in her life, which I appreciate. We then meet Nick, who is a journalist looking for a hot exclusive to write about, and he finds out about Natalie. Natalie, this recluse that doesn't do interviews, that is a popular, best-selling Christmas romance. I'm going to write about this person because she never does interviews. I'll get this exclusive. So he thinks if I can track her down, I can convince her to do an interview. So when he finds out that she is going to be doing a book reading, he wastes no time. He shows up, and while waiting in line, he's talking about how he doesn't really get all the hubbub about her books because this isn't really realistic to today. And unfortunately for him, Natalie overhears all of this. He tries to talk to her after the reading. She's not having it. We are having a blizzard, though, and that blizzard is going to cause her and her publicist to drive into a snowbank, making them have to be stranded in Cranberry Falls, a name that Aaron heard and literally gasped.
Yes, she did. Cranberry Falls.
And Dan said, do you know this place?
Okay?
Is this real? And she's like, I just really like the name. I just really like the name. And I appreciate that about Aaron. Because, yeah, same.
I initially thought something was wrong. Cranberry Falls.
Cranberry Falls. That's
right,
exactly right. So they go to this inn, which is decorated to the nines for Christmas, of course. Thanks in part to a tow truck driver, or a driver, it's her high school crush, Caleb, is there. And he gets them to the inn that apparently Charles Dickens stayed in one time, and that is enough to make a career of it. And guess who else is staying there? It's our guy, Nick. Nick decides that he is going to basically do this story anyway. Now that they are both stranded in Cranberry Falls, I am in close enough proximity to Natalie to figure out this story. And he starts right away by meeting Caleb in the next morning for breakfast and doing a little matchmaking. Hey, maybe I can rekindle these two's high school crush status for one another. And wouldn't you know it, it works. They're hanging out with each other. They're feeling it. They're having a great time. But Nick and Natalie are also starting to hang out some more, having conversations about life, about love, about how our guy Nick was once almost engaged, but it didn't work out.
Yeah.
It's time for the Dickens Festival. That's right. You guys remember how Charles Dickens stayed there one time?
So they have a whole festival.
They have a whole festival because why wouldn't you?
Put on by firemen, of course.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And this festival is bigger than ever this year, thanks to Natalie doing a little shout out about the festival on our social media. And so we're at the festival, and she is this woman comes up to her and basically tells her that Caleb is like her man, and he goes off every once in a while, but he always comes back to me, and this whole thing. And we find out that Caleb might not be the best guy in the world. This upsets her, and she's like, listen, I don't need this. You lied to me. You used me just to post a video on social media about the Dickens Festival. How dare you? I don't need this from you. And he immediately goes back to that girl. But then she gets mad at Nick because she realized that Nick knew that Caleb was a jerk and didn't do anything about it. And she thinks it's just because he was trying to put this whole thing together for his story. It's all about the story.
It's all about the story.
Luckily for her, though, Cranberry Falls, the relationship, the feelings, it all worked for her in regards to writing a better version of her book, which her publisher loved. She goes back home, and it is Christmas Eve, and she finds out, she gets some flowers from Nick. She finds out that Nick is where Nick is at. She goes to find Nick. They are able to hash things out, due mainly in part because she realized that Nick hits all 5 of her must-haves. Most importantly, must love Christmas. See, that's the title
of the movie.
Yeah. So she goes, she finds Nick, and they talk, they make up, they make out by trains, and that, my friends, was Must Love Christmas.
We
exactly
did
right.
it.
Let's take a quick break. I'll see if I can pull my other pant leg up.
Wow.
And we'll kind
real
of
here on Philo.
We'll go from there here on Deck the Hallmark.
Deck the Hallmark.
We're back. And I look great. That's Philo.tv has DTH. This is just a show at this point.
There's a whole component you're missing.
Yeah. There's a visual component to this.
There really is. There really is.
You think it's just dudes talking. It isn't.
No. Not today, at least. Let's get to the 4 segments to talk about Must Love Christmas. We're going to start with a hot take, and I'm going to start with the birthday boy himself, Alonzo. Alonzo, what did you think of Must Love Christmas?
I quite like this one, actually. I saw it when it originally aired. Usually CBS I can take or leave, but in 2022 they gave us Jacqueline Collier Presents.
Right.
Jacqueline Collier in Fit for Christmas.
Yeah, that's right.
And they gave us Neil Bledsoe dressed up as a Dickens character with fake mutton chops. So how am I not going to be there for those? Yeah, I mean, obviously there are Wait What's and this is another movie that does not understand how journalism works or authorship or any of that stuff, but whatever, this is the water we swim in. But I think there's a genuinely sort of interesting progression to the central relationship. There is a cool, there's a hint that maybe the old boyfriend isn't the worst until he is. Mm-hmm. The fact that this gets to be this is like TV PG, right? The not TVG gets to be like a little bit saucier in terms of people's personal lives, which I think adds a little something. So yeah, I mean, not necessarily a classic, but I think for this kind of thing, perfectly solid.
I'm with Alonzo here 100%.
You're going to go further than perfectly solid.
I loved it. Yeah. I loved it for a lot of reasons. Least of which certainly isn't the fact that this city of Cranberry Falls is, best I can figure, heaven here on Earth. A magical winter wonderland where Christmas just looks better, and I love that. Loved Neil Bledsoe, and I thought that he was as good as he's ever been. Just an absolute hoot and a holler from him. And yeah, I thought that the triangle worked. I was nervous that we only had like 10 minutes left in the movie, and we had just gotten to the Dickens festival, and she was still into the ex or the high school boy. And so, but I still felt like the ending didn't feel overly rushed. It still worked. And I will say, this movie did something where they tie in the title of the movie,
and it caught Brand off guard.
She's like, she had 4 or 5 things that she knew, but then she was like, you know what? The last
what
last
did you think
one
was gonna happen?
I didn't.
He was Alonzo. He was so taken aback by this. It was a Shyamalan level. Like, he was like fist in the air, like, yeah, like he could not
because
believe.
most of these titles are throwaways.
The title that late in the movie, you're not thinking about it anymore.
Yes,
you've moved on, and then when they bring it back, it's like, okay, yes, I forgot. That's what we're watching.
I'm not used to the title of the movie being a central plot point like this, where it's like the big reveal is the title. I thought it was just brilliant, masterful, chef's kiss. I love this movie. Give it to me again, please. Dano, ruin the day.
This movie's boring and stupid. But I will say this, for a movie that's boring and stupid, the way to maximize what you have if a movie is boring and stupid is good leads and just dump a bucket of Christmas feels on it. And they do those two things. We don't get enough Neil Bledsoe in these movies. We just don't.
We don't.
He's great in this. He's fun. You always feel like Neil is simultaneously in on the bit, that he knows what it is, and is also crafting a character at the same time. And that is not true for all of the Hallmark stars. So that's awesome. And then, we'll talk about it in the feels segment. I don't get as many Christmas feels in May, regardless of what happens on screen. But I was literally in the middle chair. To my right was Aaron Shea. To my left was Brandon Gray. And both of them were fawning over this movie like this was the first time they'd ever heard of the holiday Christmas. So yeah, from a feel standpoint and a lead standpoint, through the roof great. But the movie's boring and it's not bright. And I'm sorry that you can't recover from that. And so, it was not. This is one. Bran had a look on his face at one point in this movie that I felt like it was a look that said, I'm adding this to the rotation. That was the look he had on his face. Yeah. And so I just don't get that. I'm not there. It isn't very good in my opinion. But Neil, good job.
Okay, whatever. Let's get to all the feels. Alonzo, anything give you those magical Christmas feels that we're all looking for on a daily basis?
Some of us, for sure. I mean, absolutely. You know, I don't know why Hallmark and company are sleeping on Neil Bledsoe. He is dynamite for the reasons that Dan pointed out, and just has a real level of charm. Really, is in for what these movies are, and gives it 100%. And I mean, super charming in person. I got to hang out with him at Christmas Con Pasadena in the Deck the Hallmark booth. But I really respect him as an actor. I also respect him for his public statements about where he will and won't work. So bravo, sir. But yeah, he and Liza Lapira, I think, have buckets of chemistry, and they really bring this off. I had visible breath feels.
Sure.
Don't see that real often in these, but I caught it a few times, which that was special.
It's the magic of Cranberry Falls, Alonzo.
Yeah, that was it was a very sneaky recipe of digital snow in the air, real snow on the ground that they went with for some reason in this movie.
I thought maybe there was some soap suds happening too, but either way, it was decent. And we get some solid B gays here. The B story with the publicist and the photographer. Yep. Like they weren't just there to and the leads. They had their own stuff to deal with and work out and figure out about themselves. But that was cute. And some feels.
Yes. This town is.
Good God, man!
The Christmas hit different. Am I right, Alonzo? The Christmas looked great in this movie.
Look, if I could stay in a town where there's a B&B run by B.J. Harrison, already I'm in. And then a Dickens festival on top. Although, of course, when they say Dickens festival, they mean A Christmas Carol and nothing else.
That's right.
Because,
sure.
Like when Publicist was dressed as supposedly the ghost of Christmas Future, I thought the funny joke would have been, I got stuck being Uriah Heep. Yeah. But no one's going to get that because Dickens never wrote anything but A Christmas Carol in movies.
Somebody's walking around as the second convict out there. It's like a whole thing. You're like, what is this guy doing?
I did at least appreciate the Miss Havisham reference.
Of course.
That was that's a step beyond.
Yeah.
And we're talking about what book?
Donnie in the jail cell, which is super good. And
Donnie in the jail cell is a classic.
Would recommend if you can get Donnie in the jail cell in the first edition.
Whoa, boy,
amazing! But to that, even the decorations just looked really good and crisp, and the different types of snow. There was a mixture of soap suds, some digital. All of that worked for me. It felt really great and just made my heart real happy. Dan.
Yeah, the decoration, the Christmas in this movie is really good. It is May. We're not even at Memorial Day yet. I don't really have that same thing that Bran has. I believe it's just a dysfunction. But
on your part,
this morning recently when Bran was saying oh, we're getting close, we're getting so close, and Dave's just going, it's May.
Yes,
it's May.
Yeah.
It's May.
Yeah, yes, Dave understands life.
Dave misheard what I said. I said it's getting closer to feeling like it's getting
This is
close.
like in the South. When
that was my quote. It's getting closer to feeling like it's getting close.
You should be ashamed of
and
yourself.
That is a fact.
I believe his answer to that would still be
It's May.
It's May. Yeah,
fair. We in the South, we say we're fixing to get ready. Yeah. And if we say that, we're not doing anything. We're not if we're fixing to get ready, that means we're about to get ready. We're just sitting on the couch.
Kind of crossing our minds.
I say it 3 times a week. I'm fixing to get ready to go do some laundry or something. No, I'm just sitting here. It's getting close To getting close? Is
Yes.
that's the dumbest thing?
No, it's
To
getting
feeling.
close to
Yeah.
feeling like it's getting
Oh
close.
my God. So anyway,
Everyone know half Christmas
I-
is coming up next month. Once
It
we
is?
hit June 25th, it starts to feel like it's getting close.
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I'm not saying it's getting close.
Because then it's Christmas in
It's
July,
100 degrees outside.
and then it's all just rolling
That's
up
exactly
to the Burr
right.
months.
Guys.
Listen, we get to June 25th. We're halfway to Christmas. Then there are Christmas movies on 24/7 for an entire month.
We get to Scott Noonan Day on October 1st.
it's-
You know,
this
it's a
is
whole.
Scott Noonan Day. What are we talking about?
We get Rudolph's birthday. All this.
Stop. Everybody, just take a beat. Having said all of that,
Newman.
the Christmas Day, and Aaron mentioned this while we were watching the movie, the Christmas decorations in this movie are not only great, but they don't look like they were done haphazardly. They look like someone took the time to do them right. So it's not like sometimes when Hallmark's like, more Christmas, and they just get a box labeled Christmas and dump it on the screen. This is like they actually took the time to be like, yes, this is what a house decorated for Christmas would look like. This is what a train station decorated for Christmas would look like. And so that really does work. And
Everything felt very specific. Like we are actually giving this thought.
Yes, I can imagine in December that this would play really, really well.
Okay. I'll take that. Boy, howdy.
What show did you sign on to do 4 months ago, Daniel? Here we are.
That's true.
all
That's
right?
true. That's true. Fair enough.
Let's take one more quick break and we'll come back and we'll get to the wait, what, and the
CBS.
CBS.
See? BS.
Here on Doug the Homework. Welcome back, everybody. It is Deck the Hallmark. It is Monday, which is Christmas Day around here every week, every Monday, and it is marvelous. Let's get to the Wait What's. We're talking about Must Love Christmas. Alonzo, any Wait What's while you're watching this movie?
Okay. I understand that my position as somebody who has worked at a magazine and is an author puts me at a disadvantage in sort of losing myself in the fantasy of these films. But the idea of standing there while my editor reads my entire manuscript, the thought of it gives me a panic attack. Like that she can even be in the room. Like you deposit that and then you go somewhere else and then you come back at the end and go, but no, she's just hovering. She is hovering and pacing back and forth while the editor reads the entire thing. And I just like, stop it, movie.
My only hope
I can feel my blood pressure rising.
hope there is that she had read all of it and was waiting on the last 2 pages or something. That's the only explanation that makes sense. Because if she's sitting there while she reads the whole novel,
I was under the impression she had just read the end, but the fact that it could be read as though she's sitting there while she's reading the whole thing.
because the stack of papers that she has by her is pretty
massive.
big.
Yeah,
It's a big
that's
stack.
right. Yeah, no, you're right.
Woof. Okay, so the editor says, "Look, I know you don't like to do public appearances, but we're going to send you to this bookstore. They promise they're not going to actually publicize your appearance. That's part of the draws here. It's just for fans. Nothing outside the store." I'm like, okay, so you're going to keep this a really big secret that I'm coming to town to do a public appearance. Okay, I'm in, I guess. Maybe I'll sell 2 books to random people who wander in by mistake.
It is actually our business model of Bramblefest.
That's right. Try to sell as little as we can. What this does in this movie, though, Alonzo, is keep the amount of money spent for background actors down. Because they're like, it's only going to be a few people, and they hold to that because it is only a few people there for an author that sold millions of copies. There's only a few people there.
We have to hold our juice for the Dickens Festival, and that's not till much later.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, this is and I know it's unfair to pick on these movies about the magazine stuff, but I'm sorry, the holiday issue is not being discussed in mid-December.
No.
The holiday issue is being discussed in September, and it's done by this point. It's on the stands and get out of there. And then that gets followed up later with at the end when he's filed his story, and his editor says, Well, we're just waiting for the pictures from the Dickens Festival. We'll embed those tonight and be on the newsstand first thing in the morning. No.
Yeah, just a quick
That's
embed.
not how any of this works.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
fair.
brother.
Is that? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, there's more. She is the queen of Christmas romance. And that's just not a thing.
No.
Like y'all built an entire empire out of reviewing Christmas movies, but you had to find something else to do for the other 9 months of the year.
Yep.
Like you
Watch
you
more
could
Christmas
only
movies. Yes.
well, for one thing, yes, but Ride and One Calls the Heart and all the other stuff you guys do, because Mariah Carey doesn't make a year-round career out of being the queen of Christmas, and if she can't do it, none of us can.
Even the Queen of Christmas in this space doesn't do Christmas all year, so it does. It just doesn't. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, we wish it would.
We do. Yes, I am pushing for it.
Yes.
Hallmark drama, Hallmark Christmas Channel, make it happen. Hallmark.
Yes, how many?
We haven't said that in a while, but Hallmark drama is a worthless network, and
it's just sitting
it
there.
would all be
Come
better.
on.
It would all be better as a Christmas Channel 365.
Yes, do better. And then finally, this just line made me laugh. When they at the end when they tell her that he's at the potluck for the less fortunate.
Yeah. Oh,
Now-
listen. I guffawed, Alonzo. What?
Are you feeding poor people, or are you making poor people bring a dish? Because that's what a potluck is.
That is what a potluck
Potluck
is.
is
right.
where everybody brings something and then
so
everybody shares.
You can compare your fortune to others. That's
Well,
what you
my
can do.
mac and cheese has Velveeta. in it.
That's right. Yeah. Like, I feel like there was a line-orama there where this guy got 5 lines and it was like, this was the least offensive. He was like, a potluck for the poors. No, we can't use that one. Try again.
One or the other, y'all. Pick a
Potluck
lane.
for the bad. Nope. Potluck for the less fortunate?
Yeah.
All right, cut. Let's take it. Let's get that one.
Surely it's not actually called that, right? Like,
Welcome to the 5th annual potluck for the less fortunate.
at the
Yeah, I mean,
the
even
train
put-
museum.
Even putting the less fortunate aside, it's like, no, it's not a potluck unless you're making them bring their own hot dish, which seems very not charitable at this part of the season.
Yeah.
Oy.
I know
That's all
times
I
are
got.
tight, and I know it's cold outside. But if you could rustle up one dish for the
casserole.
table, you're in. One for the table. That's your entry fee.
Bring some Brussels sprouts. Anything.
No questions asked about the dishes. You took most of the mine, Alonzo. The only other one that I have is at the end of the movie towards the end of the movie when she finally kisses Caleb. Nick and the other guy, his photographer, are up in the perch and they're looking down, and he's taking pictures, and Neil says, let's just give him privacy. We don't need pictures of the kiss. To which Neil then continues to just watch them
look
kiss.
at very
Let's give them
eerily.
privacy. Yeah. Yeah. I do feel like there was a lot going on there that if I'm Natalie and I see the finished product, I'm like, that still feels kind of icky. Like this whole thing with
bit.
and the
Little bit.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. But he's at the potluck for less fortunate.
less
so
fortunate,
it
you
like
gotta
kind
do what
of
you gotta do. Yeah,
it
come
all
on.
it all evens out. Dano?
Alonzo, you've held the title of editor before, film reviews editor. Have you ever offered to cat sit for any of your critics?
Not by a long shot. No. But then again, I'm terribly allergic.
Yeah, but also this editor is too invested. If this editor is being like, well, yeah, of course I'll cat sit for you, we have a problem. We have a problem here. We've dropped the ball in professionalism altogether, if that's where we are. I want to be very clear. There's a blizzard in New York. There's a historic town with a pre-Civil War era hotel in it, and they have rooms available, multiple rooms for anyone that needs them. In fact, the room that Charles Dickens stayed in is available that night. It is impressive that this pre-Civil War hotel has all this vacancy. Like just so much vacancy.
Maybe that room was taken, but when they found out that Natalie, who is what they say,
out.
the second most famous author
That's
to stay
ever
there
stayed
outside of Charles
Yes.
Dickens, maybe they said, "Hey, Scram, we got to put number 2 over there with number 1."
I can't imagine a pre-Civil War era. We're coming up on 200 years that this hotel has been standing, that has Charles Dickens has stayed there during Christmas time, not being booked solid. And they got rooms for Neil Bledsoe. They got rooms for the whole cast. Everybody's staying. It's not like they got one room. The whole place is open.
Because the Dickens Festival is not drawing him in this year.
That's right. Clearly.
That's true.
Clearly. That's my next one. Speaking of which, this, and I want to make sure I understand this because they do kind of cross wires a little bit, but the way they explain it, the firefighters put on this festival for charity. And the reason it might not happen this year is because 2 of the main sponsors have seen that the ticket sales are lagging. So this is a festival, a party that's for charity. And 2 sponsors that sponsor this charity event are like, oh, the ticket sales are bad. We're not giving our money to charity this year. I'm sorry, we're out. Am I understanding that correctly? Yeah, there it is. I knew it. And I think we covered all of them, especially the potluck for the less fortunate, which I wanted to make sure that we did get here. That was very important to talk about because that line was, man, I heard it and wanted to immediately rewind it. That's it. That's all I got.
Guys, where do we have this year's potluck? Is the train museum open? Yes, it is.
Do they have enough chafing dishes?
That's right.
Let's get to the CBS. It's where we wonder what could have been maybe happened. Gives me clearer questions we still have. Alonzo, any questions that you're still wondering about, losing sleep over maybe?
Yeah, a little bit. So she is the queen of Christmas romance, but it has been established that she has had no actual romance in her own life for quite some time. Now that she is all happy with Neil Bledsoe, is that like going to totally make her mojo go away? Is she going to be like so happy in real life that she can no longer formulate fake romance for the page? And then will she in turn resent him for stripping her of her gifts as the queen of Christmas romance? And then will that heartbreak in turn lead to her greatest novel ever?
That's right.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
that was beautiful.
It won't be a Christmas novel necessarily, but it could be something even better and, more.
I think meteor.
Yeah. Mine was Neil Bledsoe works for She magazine, and I'm not saying that guys can't work for women's magazines, but I just want to know kind of how it seems like there's a lot of guys that are working at She magazine, and I kind of want to know how he ended up there, because this seems like a story that he's very invested in and cares a lot about. What kind of are the other stories that he works on? Those are all my questions. Just what is She magazine really? Is it just for women? Is that what that is? I don't know. That's my question.
Good question. Yeah.
Character that she played in the CCB road trip in the snow movie.
Christmas Detour?
Yes. Because she's half of the bickering couple in that movie.
Oh,
that's right.
But that she is, in addition to being like a crabby wife, she's also the kind of woman that doesn't support other women.
Oh.
So when she became editor at She magazine, it was like, bring in the dudes.
There was a lot of dudes. There was a lot of dudes at She magazine.
That's true.
A lot of dudes.
All writing about, she things.
She things.
That's right.
Yeah. Dan?
Let's talk Buffalo Wing Convention, shall
please.
we? They do mention it in this film. It is a real thing. It is on Labor Day weekend. It's a Saturday, Sunday event. All the best buffalo wings from Buffalo, New York in one place. Look, Labor Day weekend is my anniversary weekend, so I would probably be out. Having said that, if we were somehow invited to go to the Buffalo Wing Convention officially in an official business capacity.
Here's what you do, Dano. There has to be something else going on in or around Buffalo that weekend that you could sell. Like, hey, babe.
No, I'm not worried about the anniversary. If we're going in an official capacity, if the Buffalo Wing Convention asks us to come up,
Okay.
I feel like we have to do it at least once.
We have to do it.
Cinema looking for a marathon, basically, and then also figuring out how to make that an official business trip.
Yeah.
I was thinking the hard thing was going to be selling that as an anniversary trip. But now that I know you don't care.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I said. Is
that
I
makes
don't
it
care.
easy. That makes it easy. We can at least.
I think they're missing out not having it days before Christmas. As
I will say
presented in
this: they
film,
acted
right?
like it was in December in this movie, and it's been. I looked it up because I was like, "There's a Buffalo Wing convention," and I looked it up, and it's clearly the first weekend in September. Everybody,
what convention implies like speakers, right? Like
Keynote?
like, hey,
I
I'm
could
John.
give a keynote.
I'm John Buffalo.
I could give a keynote at a Buffalo Wing convention tomorrow. I don't need any prep time.
Like, what are they
We're going to
talking
break
about?
up into small groups.
Hey, what kind of thoughts on the air fryer?
No, that's not making an appearance.
Mango habanero, yay or nay?
Yeah. Yay.
Yay. Oh, we got some good mango habanero wings down here, Alonzo. Next time you're in town, Bramble
Oh,
Fest.
you're on.
Got to try them. We order them here every now and then.
It's called Wing Fest. It's called Wing Fest.
Oh,
When does Wing Fest
in the
happen?
chat, somebody says they're well acquainted with Wing Fest, which is that
it's a festival, not a convention.
Yeah.
So that does make it sound like Buffalo Wings are like playing some gigs.
And I can send you the contact info for the guy who runs it.
Wow. I don't.
Man.
But what do we do?
I don't know.
I sense a remote show coming.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to
Live from Wing Fest? Oh, we pretty much got to retire at that point. That's the pinnacle.
A super weird crossover, but one that I am here
yes,
for.
of course.
Hi, welcome to Deck the Homework. We're talking about a Hallmark movie live from Wing Fest. Do the math.
Yeah, you do the math.
We did, everybody.
House of Little Debbie.
How's a little dude? Just do the math.
Do the math.
Hey everybody, my name is Brett Debbie, and I'm excited to be here at the Wing Fest.
That's a Hallmark movie waiting to happen, really.
Yes.
Love at the Wing
Love
Fest.
at the
I think
Wing
it's the
Fest.
follow-up to You're Baking Me Crazy.
Hey Brian, write that down, bud. Love at the Wing Fest.
starring Brett Debbie. Got it. Yep.
Up next, for next week, we have a movie that premiered on something we're all aware of, TV One.
TV One.
The movie is called Christmas with My Ex.
Christmas with My Ex.
Christmas with My Ex. And I'm going to just double check that it is out there for the consumption of the people, because that's always important. I do feel like I just looked this up. Christmas with My Ex. I'm not seeing it right now. I'll find it, though. Don't worry, everybody. Christmas with My Ex. And if for some reason there's a...
We'll just talk about wings for now.
If for some reason there's a change in schedule, you'll find out. TV One.
TV One, everybody.
Not two.
Good news, everybody. Christmas with My Ex, I believe, is available right now on Philo.
On Philo. Look at that. The
Because
best place
TV
to
One
watch
is on Philo.
Wow.
And we knew that.
We knew it.
That
Of
actually
course.
makes a perfect
It was
segue.
a great ad. It was a great ad.
That's exactly right. Tomorrow, speaking of things that we're constantly surprised about, is things on Philo that we didn't know existed,
it's
like
true.
TV One, like MILF Manor, etc. And Dan and I are starting a show exclusively on Philo called the Philo Deep Dive, and the first episode is tomorrow. If you want to see Dan and I explaining TV to each other that we didn't know existed.
That we didn't watch. The other one didn't
That's
watch.
exactly
That
right.
yes,
it's going to be a lot of
time.
fun talking about things that aren't Hallmark. Dan is relieved. It's going to be really fun. Until next time, may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark is a Bramble Jam podcast. It's produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH. And we're out of there.